there's a couple of things to consider in terms of equipment, and I am going to be sharing with you a couple of different setups as well. So there's kind of like a minimal setup, a medium setup, and then kind of like the setup to be all setups. All right, so the first thing to consider with your equipment is people will listen and view your course on different devices. So yeah, we need to think about how that's going to look and how it's going to sound. The one thing for me that trumps all things actually is audio. If the audio is not good, then I quite easily switch off from it, even if the visuals look amazing, because normally 9 times out of 10, I'm on my mobile and I'm wearing earphones. Or if somebody's kind of clanking, I've got a charm bracelet, and I took that off specifically before I came online today, because I know that would clank all over the table, and you'd be able to hear that. So think about, again, from the learner's perspective, the fact that people are going to be listening to you and looking at you from very different medium. Only decide on what equipment you need once you've designed your course. Otherwise, you're going to be spending more than you need. And that kind of links into this next one, which is you don't have to spend a fortune in order to do your first course. But you do need to purchase good quality. Now, again, I'm just wanted to show you my kind of progression over the last 5 years of doing course creation. So I'm laughing because I know it was coming up. The kind of the journey of my equipment, how that has transformed over the last 5 years. So this was probably one of my first setups. If you can see there, I've got a laptop on top of some board games on top of an ironing board. There's a chair that's got a pillow on it because I'm too short to sit on it, and then there's a dog blanket actually covering the back of the chair because I didn't want that to be seen. That was my first setup to try and work out, well, how am I going to do this? There is a microphone that's tucked in there, you can't quite see it, but yeah, so that was fine. What I was trying to do there was I was trying to use natural light. So a lovely big bay window. But for anybody who's in the UK, certainly you will know that sitting in front of a window to film anything, it can be bright sunshine 1 minute and then pouring down with rain the next. So if you're looking for consistency, natural light is not necessarily something that's going to work. I did progress to the bedroom. We got rid of the board games, and then we've got a box set of Harry Potter. I kind of thought, well, maybe we need to get a little bit more professional. So I went into the study, but I'm still using my laptop there instead of the PC, and a very inexpensive camera, which I soon came to recognize it wasn't going to cut the mustard. And this just kind of I was playing around with things, trying to work out what worked. I've got this ring light. I've still got this ring light, and I do use it on occasion, but I don't use ring lights an awful lot now, purely because I tend to find that they give me what I call polo eyes. I get really tiny eyes and I just look scary. So I use a flat light, which I'll share with you which one I'm currently using, but I do use it on occasion, particularly if I'm using my mobile phone. And then we went back to the desk again. I even, during lockdown, I was on the dining room table trying to do this stuff and sharing it with dinosaurs. So there's all kinds of things. This is what I'm currently sat in front of now. So this is the microphone. You can see the webcam. You can see the light I'm using. I share my desk with my husband and my son. Therefore, there are other artifacts on here that aren't necessarily related to a home office. But this is what I'm using. So I wanted to share with you the kind of the setups that you can use that are still, I think, are good quality, but at different price brackets. So minimal setup, then your smartphone. Most smartphones have a really good video camera attached to them. I say most because some people might have slightly older ones than others, but certainly those that you've had in the last kind of 2 to 3 years have got pretty good quality on them. What it doesn't have that you will need is a microphone. The microphones on smartphones are rubbish for recording, so you definitely need a microphone. And the one I would recommend is the Rode smartphone lavalier mic. So it literally just clips onto your top. It plugs into your phone. You can get Bluetooth ones or wireless ones if you think you're going to be a bit of a distance from them. I've struggled a little bit to get them to connect properly, consistently. So I tend to use a wired version. That microphone is about £50 on Amazon at the moment, and I would very much rate that one. And the other thing, if you do need some light and something to hold your camera on, is a really simple ring light with holder. This is about a tenner, and it just clips onto a table. So as a minimum setup for 60 odd quid, because I'm not going to put the price of the phone in there because I'm going to assume you've already got one. So for the smart mic and the ring light, you can get started, absolutely get started on this. What you will need to do is you'll need to have to transfer your videos onto somewhere where you can then upload them and edit them. But in terms of recording, this stuff is all you need. Now, remember, if you're not going to do any face to camera stuff, if you've designed your course not to do any face to camera, then you're not going to need this setup. What you need is a really good microphone. So remember what I said about don't buy the stuff until you've designed it. Yeah. So this is my good enough setup. Good enough doesn't sound like that's a good thing, but actually it is. This is a really good setup to be able to use. So a decent webcam, the one that I'm showing here is not one that I have used myself, but it has got good reviews on it. And it has a little inbuilt light in it. It's not, for me, strong enough, I think, to use on its own, but certainly it adds extra to it. So when you're looking for webcams, what you're really looking for is something that is streamer friendly, something or video call friendly. Something that has that in the title of it will be good quality. In terms of microphones, then a Snowball microphone is a really good starter one to use. It's omnidirectional. Yeah, I think that's right. So it goes all the way around. It's good enough quality to be able to create online courses with. There are better ones. Some people recommend the Blue Yeti, which I think is also a good one. The same company that make them. The Blue Yeti is used more for kind of podcasts. It's kind of, you come at it from two angles, and it's slightly more expensive. And then the light that I'm currently using today could do with being switched up slightly because I look a little dark. Is this one? It's a dimmable panel light. And I really like this, so I can make myself bright orange if I really wanted to, or quite a phased out white on it. And all of that together, if you were to buy all of those, is about £130. Okay, my suggestion again would be to look around. These are just kind of the ones that I would recommend or use, but there are lots of different things. And as you saw with my ironing board and board games and stuff, just play around with stuff and see what works for you. The current setup that I am using, bear in mind that I've been creating online courses for 5 years, so I've worked up to this technology rather than started with it. This is the camera that I'm currently using. So this is a Logitech C922 ProStream webcam. That's not an easy thing to say, is it? This is a really good HD camera. If you're going to be doing a lot of face to camera work, it's worth investing in. It's probably about £100, but it's a really, really good quality one. It does have an inbuilt mic, but I would not use it because it's not good quality enough for what I think you need for online courses. This is the microphone. There we go. The one that I'm currently using. It does come with a little pop mic as well. This is a real investment. So this is about 220 odd pounds for this microphone. But the sound quality on it is exceptional when I am recording my online courses. Now, the reason why I paused when I was saying that is because we are currently using Zoom. And Zoom is a platform in its own right, and it produces all the quality of the audio and the visual itself. So what you're seeing and hearing is directly related to Zoom plus my equipment. If I am recording directly and using some software to record my audio and some different software to record my visuals, they will sound different to what you're currently hearing. So live streaming like this is very different to actually the results that you get if you're recording audio separately. I use an adjustable microphone arm as well, because I found that I'm a table tapper. Which means that if I'm talking and I'm banging the table at the same time, that is going to transfer into the microphone. So having the arm attached to something other than the table is really useful. And also it means that I can put the microphone anywhere that I want it to be. And then there's that light again, the same one that I used before. Sometimes, like I say, I do have the ring light, but this one's fine. So the total of this layout is about £360, depending on where you're going to buy it from. So like I said, it's an investment at this stage. But if I sell a couple of courses, then I'm going to make that investment back. So it's a toss up between, do you start off with, I wouldn't say start off with low quality stuff. Never start with low quality stuff, but start with lower costing items. But be careful of creating courses that do not represent the quality of what you give to your clients. Okay, because it's a window into how much effort you've put into things. And if you're creating something that isn't as good as you would normally do for clients or customers, then it basically takes away from your branding and your reputation. Okay, any queries or questions about the technology side? I'm going to talk about software in a second, but if you've got any queries or questions around that, I'm happy to answer those.
I suppose I've got one that crops up quite a lot, and that's, should you record in landscape or portrait?
For courses, I would always say landscape. Okay. Because most platforms are set up to show videos in landscape, and if people are then watching it on their phones, they just tilt it to the side. Portrait can work quite well for social media posts and things like that, but yeah, for me, most platforms are set up for landscape MP4s. So yeah, that's what I would say. Okay, thanks, Sarah. Brilliant. So just in terms of some software that you might need to consider, because it's no point having the technology if you haven't got anything to hook it up to. There are different things that I would want to do with the stuff that I've got. So I want to record on it. I want to trim. So if I'm doing face to camera, then I want to bookend. Yeah. So I want to trim off that little bit at the beginning where you suddenly go, and then you smile. So that needs to be clipped off, and you need to clip off the bit at the end where you're trying to find your mouse to actually switch off your recording stuff. So at the very least, if you don't do anything else with your editing, you need to bookend. So you need to trim videos. If you do want to do more editing, so if you feel as though you're going to want to do a lot of in-between editing, you'll need some software for that. And then there's some extra stuff that you might want to consider. So I'm just going to list all the software down the side here, and then I'm going to go through them with you to make sure you're clear on what they are. So Loom and Zoom are recording softwares. We're obviously on Zoom, so we're well aware of that one. Loom is another version. It's been designed to create short video memos. Some people like it because it creates a little circle of your video, and then you can overlay that onto PowerPoint slides or things like that. The third one down there is PowerPoint and Keynote, depending on whether you're an Apple or a Windows user. So you can do lots in those. There's also Movie Maker and iMaker, again, depending on Windows or Apple. Audacity is a wonderful piece of software for creating audio. I did see something in the news this morning that kind of threw up about data protection and stuff like that, but I think that'll blow over. I'm still quite happy to use Audacity and use it whenever I create any of my courses. I record my audio separately onto Audacity, and then I put it together with my visuals. Canva, most people have heard of Canva these days. There's a lot you can do in there. Filmora and Camtasia are both technical bits of software where you can edit, you can overlay, you can add music. Camtasia is quite a bit of an outlay, but if you're going to do this stuff a lot, it's worth considering in the future, whereas Filmora is a little bit less expensive. And then the pineapple in the cocktail is a piece of software called Handbrake. And what Handbrake will do is it will allow you to reduce the size of your video files, so that you can have more on your own computer, because files do take up a lot of space, but also then to be able to upload takes a lot less time. So in terms of recording, every single one of those except Handbrake will record for you. You can also record within Camtasia, sorry, not Camtasia, within Canva now as well. I've recently found out. Yeah. So you can do all of your recording within there. In terms of trimming, Zoom and Loom, you cannot trim in. If it did have that, I think it would make life a lot easier to be able to record something and then just kind of bookmark your ends. But you can record in all of those except those two. Editing, if you want to get into the middle of what you've recorded, you're going to need to either look at Audacity for your audio, or Filmora or Camtasia for something that you can splice things, add things together, overlay stuff. And then in terms of the extras, the reason why I've put these down here, Zoom, I do tend to record a lot of my online courses on Zoom, and that's mainly, and this is going to make me sound super vain, is that you can enhance your appearance on Zoom, which I quite like. You can kind of smooth out the lines. Yes. If you record directly onto your phone, you don't tend to have that option unless you've got really good soft lighting. It can be a tad harsh. So Canva, like I said, that has the option now to be able to trim and overlay. There's quite a lot you can do in there in the free version. I don't pay for my Canva version at the moment. I can still do plenty in there. And then you can see the others just allow you to do more with it. And the Handbrake one I've already explained.